Coming up here on Dolphins Today, we're going to be breaking down the 2022 opponents for all the home and away games. And then there is a lot, and I mean a lot of coaching rumors to be breaking down. That's all coming up right now. Mitchell Renz from Chat Sports ready to break down the Miami Dolphins 2022 opponents. Now, we don't have the exact schedule in terms of when they are going to play which teams, but what we do have is all the home and all the away games. Now, in terms of some of these home games here, there's no surprise. You're going to end up playing the Buffalo Bills, New England Patriots, New York Jets at home and on the road. Now, this upcoming season, the Dolphins, they actually have 8 home games, 9 away games. What about some of these teams that are the home opponents? You have the Browns, Steelers, Packers, Vikings, and then the Houston Texans. Only 2 of these teams ended up making the playoffs this year, in the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Green Bay Packers. So here's my question to everyone watching. Which home game are you looking forward to the most? Now, obviously, if you want to put in one of the division rivalry games, I'll be like, all right, though I'm hoping that you pick one of the other 5 that we just broke down. Now, what about some of these games that are on the road? You have the Cincinnati Bengals. That's a playoff caliber team. The Baltimore Ravens, I would imagine they should make the playoffs next season if they have Lamar Jackson, but they finished the season at 8-9. The Detroit Lions, unless something crazy happens, they're probably still not going to be very good. The Chicago Bears at 6-11. The Chargers at 9-8, and then the 49ers. So right there, the 49ers, a playoff caliber team since they, made the playoffs this year. Now, what I want you guys to do, let me know which game you're looking forward to the most on the road. Now, if it was up to me, I think anytime you can go up against some of the league's best, I would like to see what the 49ers would be able to look like. But let me know down in the comments your favorite home and road game. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I'm trying to get videos on this channel every single day. We actually have a handful of Chat Sports channels. Raiders, Cowboys, 49ers, Bears. They get videos every single day on that channel. Why? The more subs that you get, the more videos and more content that you're going to get. So if you're a diehard Dolphins fan and you want videos from this YouTube channel every single day, I need you to go ahead and hit that big red button that says subscribe. Now, for those of you that maybe live underneath a rock and aren't subscribed to our channel, the Miami Dolphins, they fired Brian Flores on Monday, and I think everyone who's watching right now would agree it was a pretty surprising move. So what I did yesterday actually on this Dolphins channel was break down some Brian Flores replacements and, kind of broke down a few guys who I think they should hire. The 4 names that you're about to see coming up right now are guys that they have actually requested in terms of interviewing for that next head coaching position. The first name that we're going to break down here is Vance Joseph, defensive coordinator of the Arizona Cardinals. And I've noticed that Miami likes to try to maybe potentially bring back dudes who have once been there before. He was the Dolphins DC for only 1 season in 2016. He's been coaching in the National Football League since 2005, and he was the head coach of the Broncos from 2017 to 2018, which it did not work out. Though, if you go back and look at some of the quarterbacks that Vance had in his time with Denver, I could kind of understand why, some of those, hypothetically speaking, did not work out. Let's go to this name here, Brian Daboll, offensive coordinator of the Buffalo Bills. Miami has definitely not been afraid to go ahead and pick other really good candidates, other good OCs, DCs, other types of coaches from people inside of their division. I personally think that Daboll has done a great job developing Josh Allen, and you're hoping that if you hire somebody like Daboll, he can help develop Tua Tagovailoa. He was named NFL Assistant of the Year in 2020, and when you're coaching underneath guys like Bill Belichick, Nick Saban, you're really, really hoping that you can bring some of that winning experience to the Miami Dolphins. Now, for those of you that out there that like to bet, Brian Daboll right now is actually the betting favorite in terms of who is the most likely candidate to be the next Dolphins head coach. Daboll's at plus 450. Doug Pederson sitting here at plus 600. Eric Bieniemy plus 600. Kellen Moore plus 900. Byron Leftwich at plus 1,000. Now, there's some other names also, of course, in terms of the top candidates. But if anybody out there wants to bet on, hey, who's going to be the next Dolphins head coach, you can go ahead and do it at chatsports.com/bet. Promo code Dolphins125. That's going to get you a 125% deposit bonus. For those of you that have no idea what that means, it means if you put down $100, you can actually get $125 for free to bet with. Now, maybe you're like, you know what, man, I don't want to bet on who's going to be the next Dolphins head coach because Chris Greer, Stephen Ross, you're a little upset with them right now, which, I'll say, okay, I get that. I get the fact that the Dolphins aren't in the playoffs, but you got to be crazy not to actually sit here and tell me, oh, I'm not going to watch the playoffs. If that's the case, you are nuts. I'm going to sit here. I'm going to watch every single playoff game because I'm a football junkie. And if you want to be able to bet on any of the NFC games, Bucks versus Eagles, Cowboys versus Niners, Rams versus Cardinals, chatsports.com/bet, promo code Dolphins125. What about the AFC? It's the exact same route. Chatsports.com/bet. Promo code Dolphins125. That's going to get you 125% deposit bonus. Let's go to the third coach that they have requested to interview, Dallas Cowboys DC Dan Quinn. And Dan Quinn was kind of this interesting candidate last year when he was let go by the Atlanta Falcons, and I think he's done a phenomenal job with Dallas considering the fact of how bad their defense was last season. When I think of one of the best defenses that I personally can remember, it was the Seahawks' Legion of Boom, and he was a big reason why the Seahawks had such a dominant defense there when you're looking back at some of those Richard Sherman, Earl Thomas, Bam Bam types of years in 2013. He reached the Super Bowl with Atlanta in 2016, sure. That was the 28-3 game, and, it didn't quite work out. But he still was able to get there, and he's still been able to build a winning culture. What's interesting to me is Vance Joseph, Dan Quinn, both of those guys are defensive-minded guys. Brian Flores was a defensive-minded guy. Brian Daboll was an offensive-minded guy. Now, those are the so far three candidates. We got one more to go ahead and break down in terms of who they request to interview. But I'm going to continue to ask this question on this channel because obviously it means a lot to y'all, right? Who should the Dolphins hire to be their next head coach? Let me know down in the comments what you're thinking. The final candidate they've requested an interview, and there's going to be more. This is just so far of what we have right now. Mike McDaniels, offensive coordinator of the San Francisco 49ers, and this kind of makes me chuckle a little bit because this guy's only 38 years old, and he's technically been coaching. He was an intern in 2005, but as far as I'm concerned, you've been in the NFL world since 2005, and for a lot of these teams, they're looking for that next young head coach. Can you find the next Sean McVay? Even Kyle Shanahan, and this dude's been working with Kyle Shanahan for multiple years now. I know a lot of people give Shanahan a lot of credit for his running game ability, but I really think McDaniels deserves a lot of that credit as well. I mean, he was with the Atlanta Falcons back in 2016 when Devonta Freeman was winning guys' fantasy titles. Now he's in 2020 and with 2021 with the 49ers, and that team, despite not having a lead back, are still able to get solid production out of their running backs. Now, a few of the names that I just talked about were actually in the video that I made yesterday, my Brian Flores replacements video, and just like I asked you earlier, I asked you in this one as well. Who's going to be the Dolphins head coach? If you want to see the top 10 candidates, and I also sprinkled in 4 big-name coaches that could potentially be the next guys here in Miami. If you want to go check that out, another reason to subscribe and another reason to turn on those noties, because if you didn't see it, means the noties aren't on and you missed it. So here are my rankings out of the 4 coaches that I just broke down. If you were to ask me, all right, Mitch, how would you rank the 4 coaches in terms of the interview request? I would personally say Brian Daboll would be number 1. Dan Quinn would be number 2, and then actually there's a little bit of a tier break. Like if you're going to go with an offensive-minded guy, I say you go Daboll out of the 4 guys that you've requested. If you want to go defensive-minded, I'll say Dan Quinn. Mike McDaniels comes in at number 3, and then Vance Joseph comes in at number 4. Now, out of the 4 coaches that you see on screen, here's what makes Chat Sports a little bit different. I know a lot of other channels out there like to give you the news, like to give you the rumors, like to give you, even more content. Heck, I'm even going to be giving you guys draft targets coming up here in a few days, but that's not where I'm going. I want to know what you guys are thinking. Who is the best head coach candidate out of the 4 names that you see on screen? Type BD for Brian Daboll. Type DQ for Dan Quinn. Speaking of DQ, that sounds pretty freaking good right now. MM for Mike McDaniels, or VJ for Vance Joseph.